Hello, and we're back. Sorry about that, everyone. Let's see, due to the fact that we're using Zoom, the recordings only last 40 minutes for some looks of it. So I'm now doing a second recording, so we're going to have to split this into a part one and part two, kind of like the actual series of Naruto. But as we probably last meet, let's see, we were talking, as we're getting to the end, we were talking about the Uzumaki clan with Nagato. So continue chat.
Yeah, I was saying that that would have been a great plot point, I think, to actually go deeper into the whole Uzumaki history, with Naruto being an Uzumaki after all.
Oh, yeah.
And him finding out, I think it would have brought more depth to the whole war idea, since Nagato was, after all, a Uzumaki, and I cannot remember correctly, was Rain Village part of Uzumaki settlement, or not really?
No, but
No, it was just that those islands that where the Uzumaki came from were just kind of like a ways away from the Hidden Mist village, I think.
yeah, it's a.
So Rain wasn't the hidden mist? Man, a lot of time has passed.
Yeah, and it led to some theorizing that Madara manipulated the mist to destroy the Uzumaki clan, but that was never really explored upon. We never really learned who destroyed the village. It was just consequence of war, and then the survivors spread the other clans. But then again, the timeline of Naruto's a bit confusing on that. But hey, but yeah. But anyway, let's see. As Nagato's about to take Naruto away, perhaps one of the most infamous scenes in the whole shipping war. You have and probably if James was here, because he was supposed to join us, but he's not here. You have James entering no, not James. You have Hinata entering the fight, trying to save Naruto, kind of thing, trying to make sure the pain is capturing him. Let's see, Naruto tells her to get out of here, but she wants to be a bit selfish, die trying to protect Naruto, and she finally reveals that she loves Naruto, and this probably exploded Hinata's and Naruhina's popularity in the West just by confessing.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet James could.
So that was, I'm seeing that part just like we are right now. Everybody tells us stay inside, and so should she have done back then. Just stay put. Don't spread the virus, so to speak. But no, she had to do it.
Yeah, and as a result, gets stabbed and looks like she's died. Naruto goes 6 tails and breaks the seal, and then we finally learn where Yamato and Sai were. They were with Anko searching for Kabuto. So at least to remind us that, yeah, Kabuto's still out there, folks. And so we have an epic battle with the 6-tailed form of Naruto versus Pain, resulting in him becoming 8 tails, and looks like the seal is about to break, but is stopped by a left-behind, chakra of sorts by the 4th Hokage, Nato's subconscious, and here where Nato finally learns that his father is the 4th Hokage, which gets a very, interesting interesting talk when Naruto being angry, but then Minato talking about the history of Shinobi. Sorry, what chat?
Nothing, I'm just having problems with hearing you. It gets interrupted.
Okay.
Here and there.
Okay, fair enough. Can you still hear me, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
But yeah. But see, Naruto gets re-encouraged by his father that he'll find the answer to this cycle of ending, and also informs them that it was the masked man that was behind the Nine Tails attack. But yeah, so we know at least this part. Pain. Toby is lying to one aspect of Sasuke, which I assumed at the time was what would eventually turn Sasuke against Toby. But hey, as Sasuke realized that Toby somewhat lied to him. But yeah. Saying something, Steve?
No.
Anyway, the fight resumes, and eventually Naruto is able to defeat Pain. and then goes to try and talk to Nagato to just find out why he's like this. And then, of course, we learn Nagato's backstory of how his parents were killed. Let's see, and then how he met Jiraiya, how he met Yakuho and Koan, how they formed a group of trying to be peace, but that was destroyed by Hanzo and Danzo's alliance. Let's see, honestly, I thought Naruto might have gotten Naruto calling Danzo out on this at some point, but we'll do it later. Eventually, Naruto's able to persuade, let's see, Nagato to change, mostly due to the fact that during training, he was reading a book from Jiraiya, the first one, in which we learned the name Naruto. His name came from this book, and as a result,
Yeah, it's actually from the Tales of Gull and Jiraiya.
yeah, which heavily implies that the characters are very similar to the Team 7 dynamic. It should have been Naosaku that in the end, but hey, we'll get to that a bit later. But yeah, but after persuading Nagato that he would be able to find the answer with this book and stuff, Nagato revives the villagers with the cost of his life. Everyone that had died has come back. So we got these brief moments of Kakashi talking to his father in the afterlife. We also learn this. We also get confirmation in this arc that Rin is dead. But that was for later. As he apologized, as he was dying, he was out his own team. Naruto return. Let's see, Conan. Let's see, leaving with Nagato and Yakuko's court. Dead bodies. Offers a hand. And Naruto returns with a grateful village celebrating. You're a hero, Naruto! Yes, we believe in you! And let's see, probably one of the most also controversial moments in the Naruto pairing wars, Sakura hugging Naruto. And some people
In her true to character way.
Yeah. So this probably really riled up the shipping wars in Naruto at this point. But at the same time, the Leaf is discussing who is going to be the next Hokage, and it ends up being Danzo after he persuades the Daimyo of the Land of Fire that the Third's teaching has led us to this moment. So the arc ends with Naruto as a hero, but now with the Leaf Village possibly getting new leadership, and also Sasuke preparing to return to Gahona to destroy it. So, what do you think? What did you guys think worked in this arc? Steve, you go first since you're a bit limited on time.
Honestly, what works about it is towards the end there when Naruto gives his answer as to how he's going to just
Deal with the whole situation.
deal with the whole. Well, it'd be wrong of me to kill you over this. So let's just follow in our teacher's footsteps. What doesn't work? I'm always going to argue this, but Hinata's quote-unquote sacrifice was just pointless. You could have literally inserted any character into that situation, and the reaction would have just been the same. As a matter of fact, it should have been, in my opinion, Iruka who sacrificed himself, because at that point, Naruto had been losing his had his mentors dying in reverse order.
Oh yeah.
So first it was Jiraiya, then Kakashi, and then to really hammer it home, how about have the one guy who first truly acknowledged him as someone other than the host for the Nine-Tailed Fox? Yeah, but no.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that would have been really impactful. It's like, oh crud, he's lost all his mentors, and now he's going full on Nine Tails. Let's see. Yeah. What do you think worked, chat, and what do you think didn't work?
Well, what it worked and what I liked personally is that, ever since the beginning, Naruto is this guy who keeps talking about how he's gonna change the world and how he's gonna do this and that. And for the very first serious time, uh, his convictions are really put to test, like a real test.
Uh-huh.
And that basically, in my opinion, is a arc that truly embodies the character best and kind of like defines it.
Mhm.
Because even though Kishi tried in the war arc to make Naruto walk his talk, it wasn't so impacting as it was with Pain arc, though, in my opinion, at least.
Anyway,
Because you could feel more the whole tension and everything when Pain hit the village and blew it up than when the war arc happened. Because the war, it's a war. You expect people to die,
oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but such an attack when no one really expected it, no one really saw it coming. It was a truly an emergency situation, and you don't, in these kind of cases, you don't expect your core beliefs to be tested. They just test you right away. Whereas in the war, you kind of, prepare for a war. Um, that was the part that I liked most, and basically, I think Naruto as a series could have well ended there. Um,
Yeah. There's many have debated whether or not this should have been the last arc of Naruto or not.
in my opinion, definitely yes, because basically the whole part one was all about you know Sasuke wanting to kill someone and Naruto have everyone else acknowledge him and become a Hokage. So basically, both these things kind of happen in Pain arc. Even for Sakura, if you ask me, it kind of happens because she finally then realizes that the mere thought of losing Naruto, and also we have that scene when she realizes that Hinata loves Naruto, that kind of disturbs her. Kind of responds to the whole question that was implied in not no, 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 not implied, sorry, wrong term. In Data Book 2, there's this thing that now, yes, she loves Sasuke, yada yada and whatnot, but if you see, she also looks at Naruto. Could it be that in the future, she kind of fell for Naruto? And we kind of get that answer when she looks very disturbed by the thought that Hinata loves Naruto, and then she hugs him at the end.
Uh-huh.
That is, albeit one of the most emotional scenes. Basically, it kind of, comes full circle with all the three of them.
Oh yeah. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
due to the fact that stuff at the beginning, we had to sort of like set up for like another arc afterwards, which was of course the Kage arc.
Yeah. Kishi opened the whole, opened the new end, so to speak, with the arc before. But if things were a bit modified, so to speak, paths were a bit, differently taken. I think that Pain arc could just be the only one, the one that closes up the series.
Okay, just to let the audience know, Steve is at this point left for now, so unfortunately we couldn't say goodbye to him right now, but yeah. But anyway, so it's just you and me at the moment, chat, unless James drops in. Yeah. Look, one thing I would want to talk about was, let's see, let's do one thing that let's see. Other thing that we also need to consider is the only things that are probably left. Let's see, other than the whole Kage Summit thing that was being set up, we still had a few members of the Akatsuki left. We had Kabuto about, and of course, we needed that final Naruto versus Sasuke fight, which I'm still kind of.
Definitely, but that could have well be the last arc, you know.
Oh yeah.
But the arc that closes the
Yeah.
story as a whole, all the ends and everything,
Yeah.
could have well be Pain arc. Otherwise, I don't know. It just went here and there with everything, with the whole logic the story had in the very beginning, and basically Naruto's fight with Sasuke was a thing on its own, so that could have very well be done separately without actually influencing the
Remainder of the story.
very premises, yeah, of the story.
Oh yeah, because let's see, after this, did see the mythology between Naruto versus Sasuke just end up affecting the entire ninja world's history and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, from that point there, it just went on a whole nother. I mean, up until now, we had ninjas, and that's all.
But yeah.
But from that point there, it just went ninja gods and everything else, which could have, you know, since we had in the beginning the whole talk about the spiritual part of the chakra. If that would have been done nicely, the whole gods thematic could have fit very well. But since we didn't have any focus on it, kind of, you know, seemed to come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, and let's see. But anyway, one thing I want to talk about is that due to let's see, one thing I think that this arc also had, I think, very missed opportunities. One example is the fact that you had Pain with his six-passing Conan. I think one problem Naruto has always had, is at least in part 2, was that there was a let's see, most of the battles were boss fights against organizations, the members of the Akatsuki, which usually lasted around one volume usually. The fact that
Yeah.
so limited characters for everyone to get their fair share of a fight, because you had members of the K11, Sakura having their either major battles or minor battles, but let's see, but they were only like once or twice. But here you had Pain coming in, and then let's see, there's all these opportunities to have some battles, but not many of the members of the K11 actually ended up fighting, or even if they did, they ended up briefing. And one kind of thing that the anime opening of this arc did was show Ino, Sakura, and Hinata fighting Conan, like this image here, which was his awesome. But yeah. So you kind of had like, it was like that was a bit of a missed opportunity in many ways. This arc.
Well, in all due respect, sorry to interrupt, Sakura did have her fight with an Akatsuki, so.
Oh yeah, Sasori. She had a fight with Sasori.
Yeah, she was actually the first one to have battle with.
Yeah, let's see.
Akatsuki, while Naruto was chasing. What was his name? Deidara.
Yeah, granted, Team Guy did. Whether there was also the brief battles with the with the fake Izuku, Izumi, and Itachi, but in many ways, it would have been nice to see her fight someone else. See her like.
Definitely, don't get me wrong. And with Conan, it would have really been nice. It would have been like the Battle of Flowers, you know.
Yeah. Let's see what else she's learned, conlevating, what each of the members of the K11 have learned, what have they gotten their new abilities. Let's see one last hurrah of their skills and stuff, something like that. Heck, even have like Sai and Yamato in, because they haven't really done anything at this point except for their initial arc. But yeah. And granted, the people that did end up fighting was Kakashi, which, fair play, he actually fought, and then you had Choji. But then you ended up having Konohamaru fighting, which no one was expecting that, but it was nice.
Yeah, that was a bit out of the blue.
Yeah, but still, it was kind of nice, I will admit. But at the same time...
Definitely not saying it's not nice, just out of the blue.
Yeah, but it's like, you've got all these characters people have been wanting to see fight, and you don't actually see them fight. Granted, I guess you could account Pain's initial skirmish with Pain as one, but we don't even get to see what the Twin Lion Fist does. Not even the war. Burst when she's about to use it, it cuts off to another member. I mean, some
I
fights.
never really understood what the Twin Lion Fist does.
I don't know. It looks like Kishimoto had something planned, but it just didn't really appear to be used at all. But yeah.
It just seemed like outside chakra building, and that's kind of it.
I mean, the only other fights that could have happened was like I believe Kiba and his mother and Shino and his father were respectively fighting one path of pain, or Conan in particular.
The animal path would have been nice, because since it's the animal path, and we know that Kiba is with the Inuzuka clan, and that had dogs, and Shino with his insects, that would have been really nice to
Oh
see.
yeah. Oh yeah, and you could have had Team Guy taking on perhaps the one that could absorb jutsu, so a taijutsu user would have been perfect for them. Let's see, Shikamaru helping out somewhere, I'm not sure where. Let's see, but yeah, there's all these kind of matchups you could have done, which they didn't do.
Yeah. As Steve said, could have, should have, could have.
I mean, yeah, one last hurrah before Naruto versus Pain. I mean, you don't even have to have the members of the K11 annihilating these. You could even have them being resurrected for the final fight with Naruto. And I think you might have said this with an editor. Let's see. Initially, Kishimoto wanted Pain and Tsunade to fight, but they didn't.
Yeah, I remember that, but no, he, changed his mind in the end. That was such a waste, to be honest.
Oh yeah. And another thing that's been controversial is Nagato reviving all the dead characters. Some feel like this ruined the suspense that had happened in the series. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like?
I liked it, you know why? Because it kind of goes hand in hand with the whole Uzumaki clan. What they're known for best is their vitality. So, we have Karin who gets to heal you in one bite. We have Nagato who gets to, revive people, or basically he had such a big chakra pool and vitality that he could actually keep up six people and 6 dead people actually, and have them use jutsus, which I suppose required a lot of chakra.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of goes well hand in hand.
Yeah.
Granted, maybe, though we did have losses because, for example, Jiraiya never came back, and that's still part of the whole Pain
Oh yeah.
arc. We still have the Toad Sage, who, stays dead.
In many ways, Jiraiya was one of the only characters that never had any form of resurrection. Not even Edo Tensei.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, granted, depending on whether or not you know with the Boruto, there's this organization called Kara, of course. Sort of
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Katsuki wannabe. Apparently, there's one character called Kojin, and some are theorizing that this might be Jiraiya or Jiraiya's son. So we have to see where that goes.
Why? Why would he be Jiraiya's son? Jiraiya's son with whom? I don't think so, to be honest.
But
the most interesting part for me in the Boruto series, and that's I think the only reason I'm gonna start following. I mean, not necessarily following on a monthly basis, I think, but from time to time, Boruto is because I'm curious. I heard, because people actually came to my inbox on Tumblr and Facebook and stuff, and told me about the whole seal thingy, that it's finally getting some sort of attention.
It was briefly talked about for a bit, and they were going to go see Tsunade, but then leader of the organization captured, tried to, battled Naruto, and Sasuke captured Naruto.
I do remember, sorry to interrupt, I do remember reading a chapter where what's his name, the head of the organization,
Mhm.
kind of goes in an alternate
Mhm.
space time
Yeah,
thingy, where he kind of,
I think it's one of Kaguya's dimensions, as it's revealed that Kaguya
Sure.
was another member of the Asutsi clan, and this leader of Kara's is the host of this member. So yeah.
Yeah, basically he goes and he finds there a whole 10 tails.
Oh yeah, there's another 10 tails. So
And he has a seal like Sakura's one,
oh yeah.
and it makes me wonder what because right after they talk about how the Byakugo seal seems to be a technique quite old from the Saga of Six Paths time, so I'm curious to see how they connect it into this whole thing.
Oh, I'm still remaining skeptical that how involved Sakura will be, because they kind of sidelined her really, but yeah.
Oh, a lot.
I mean, maybe we're lucky and we'll get maybe a brief skirmish, but then again, but who knows? At the moment, it's mostly been Ritzy, Naruto, and Sasuke, and the new Team 7, mainly Boruto, but yeah. But then again, this is what happens when you have a monthly series running like a weekly. But hey. But anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, this should give them a lot of time to properly develop it, but I don't know.
But anyway.
It went too far anyway from the source material, so that's that.
So anyway, going back to the sort of pain arc thing, what we liked, what we didn't like. Let's see, what we could have been improved, stuff like that. Overall, would you say this arc is still good after 12 years, even after 6 years Naruto ended? How would you rate it out of 10?
I think 9. I don't know if I would give any chapter, any arc, whatever, of Naruto a perfect 10, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But
mm-hmm.
yeah, Pain would be a 9, definitely.
Yeah, I'd give this a 9. The only other arcs I can think of that would I also give this score a 9 would be the tuning exams, maybe the Sasuke retrieval, and possibly the first arc of part 2. But I'm all up for talking about it if you want to, or just any other arc in Naruto in general. Granted, I want to see what else Lucky Chi plans for the Naruto would see 6th anniversary this year, because he's always bound to do a podcast on that. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to skim a bit through the story once again, because actually, I'm having my blog revived.
Oh yeah.
And as so to speak, the word is slipping my mind right now. Anyway, basically, I'm getting back my series, the one with Sakura, and I also basically plan to go to have an analysis on Naruto series.
Okay, fair enough.
From all points of view, so I'll have to just skim through the manga once again and read it once again, and with fresher eyes and with the knowledge I have now and with the experiences I have now regarding it, and see basically what's what, so it's gonna be a fun ride, I guess.
Oh yeah, let's see. Be sure to check out Chat's Tumblr blog as well as her actual blog, actual website. Let's see. I'll probably, if you want, I can link it in the description here. But anyway, so yeah, we've talked about everything. Let's see the themes. Though granted, I did kind of want to mention a bit about how let's see the themes of this arc seem to emphasize a bit on stronger countries invading and destroying the weak. Tail beast bombs being seems to be a sort of analogy to nuclear weapons, stuff like that. But
Yeah. Man, Naruto had some pretty serious themes going on, you know. Starting from the very first chapter, with, you know, children being weapon machines,
I even
so
wonder
to speak.
if Kishimoto was doing any meta commentary on the current conflicts at the time in the Middle East, but who knows? We don't really
I
know.
don't know, sometimes I wonder if he really intended it to be this hard, because I remember back in the days people saying that it's just a manga, it's just a story, it's just okay, it might be just, but some of the themes it's treating are pretty hard ones for a, I don't know, adolescent teen audience, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
We
mean,
had genocide, we had, like you said, sorry to interrupt, weapons of mass destruction. We had children being used as weapons in basically
mhm.
what you had, like, you know, rich people's wars. Because if we recall back in the first volume, we had, what was his name, Gato, I think. You
Yeah,
know,
no, yeah. The first arc, you had Gato,
yeah,
US
who
Master.
basically hires
Oh wait, right.
Zabata.
Oh yeah, Haku. You mean Haku? My mistake. Gato's the one who hired them. Zabuza's right hand henchman was Haku. Boy,
So yeah, the story had some pretty awesome elements in it, pretty awesome themes. But sadly, I think besides everything else, that's what it kept people in,
mm-hmm.
because it kind of tried some themes with great depth and as well controversy. Besides the, you know, childish controversy regarding the shipping wars, because now if I think back, um, those were petty fights, if you ask me. Of
Just
course, I was part of the petty fights as well, and I still hold true to some of the things I said back then. Some of the things I may have changed in the meantime, but overall, it was a story with great potential in terms of depth. Too bad it was in the end treated very artificially, and that's the sensation Boruto gives me. It Everything is too artificial. Everything it lacks the depth the original had.
yeah, both Ritzy Part 1 and even early Part 2, maybe even later Part 2, depending on how you debate it. But yeah. So yeah, anyway, but yeah, I think we've discussed everything we can for now. Let's see if I think of anything else we want to specifically talk about. If you want anything you want to talk about, we can use Sim again. Let's see, I'm hoping to try and get maybe Lucky Chi and For Life involved, though from what I can tell from For Life, he seems to be taking a bit of absence. But anyway, I'll be joining Lucky Chi in the podcast soon in the next Manga Wars, for those who are wondering, which will be the one shot of Fairy Tail versus the one shot of Naruto, for those looking forward. Go to Lucky Chi's channel. Anyway, bye for now, everyone.
Bye.
And there we go.